Sometimes you just need to kick back, relax, and bask in a glorious victory. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and welcome back to the channel.
Unicorn Overlord.
Hello everyone. If you enjoy what I do, and you too have finished a run of Unicorn Overlord, then a like on this video and a subscription to the channel in solidarity with a fellow Overlord would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So yes, the topic of the day today is not a particular guide or even a discussion of different classes or races, strategies, or unit builds. Today, we're just taking the chance to talk about Unicorn Overlord and how phenomenal of a game it is. Originally, I was supposed to have an April Fool's video up today, but all of my plans were brought to ruin by the events of the day, and I will not have had time to edit it. So tomorrow, you will get your April Fool's video on April the 2nd instead of April the 1st. But I hope you enjoy it nonetheless, because it's not so much a prank so much as it is a funny little thing that I think you will very much enjoy. Today, instead, I want to talk about Unicorn Overlord since, as of the time of this recording, I have been clear for 22-ish hours from my first run, and it was phenomenal. What I expected to be a 3-hour finale stream ballooned into a 9-hour finale stream, partially because we were finishing up some side quest stuff, but primarily because, man, that final mission, that thing is a doozy. We are going to be just mentioning spoilers here, so if you haven't yet finished the game and you don't want to hear about the final boss, step away now, forever hold your peace. And this isn't going to be like a full review. I am planning on doing a full review. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a full review now or once I finish True Zenoiran, which is something we're going to talk about in a second here as well. But I will be doing a proper full scripted review. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there because Unicorn Overlord managed to do everything that I was expecting it to do and more. And that's even with this being Vanillaware's arguably first proper foray into the strategy RPG genre, and definitely their first into the ogre battle genre, seeing as how that's something that hasn't really been touched with any sort of quality or sufficient effort by anyone that I know of since the original games. Like, going back to the 64 era, the N64 era, like, it's been a long time. So for Vanillaware to just come out the gate swinging, which, granted, this was a 10-year project, and they literally ran out of money while they were developing it. So, like, it had to be running on pure passion. But it just goes to show just how much passion that team had for this project. And it shows, man. It really, really shows. We knew it was going to be something special. That was obvious just from our analysis of all of the pre-release material, the trailers, the screenshots, the character bios, the little clips of gameplay, and the commander's guidance videos, and all that type of good stuff. There was so much to dissect and chew on before we even had our hands on the game that you knew, I knew, it was absolutely going to be something worth our time. And yet I still was caught off guard by just how huge this game is. The fact that, and yes, we were taking our time, but the fact that my final runtime came in at something like 110 hours or something like that, to do not even everything yet. There's still post-game content, there's other little things that I haven't finished that I can go back and clear now that I beat the final boss. Like, that is huge. The map is massive. There's so many cool side quests to do, so many different unique battles with their own little mechanics and tricks and quirks, map layouts, usage of traps, usage of different types of enemy squads. The fact that you are, right up until the very end of the game, encountering new classes for you and for the enemy, new mechanics that you have to learn, different gear that's giving different abilities that allow you to dramatically change the way that all of your units work, all of your squads work. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. The sheer breadth of music in the game, all of the different environments, the beautiful landscapes that you run through, the awesome battle maps, the way they all look so visually distinct from one another, even the ones that are in the same biome as each other. And then again, like this OST, oh my God, one of the best game soundtracks I have heard in such a long time. All of the character art, obviously phenomenal. We all knew that was going to be the case because that's Vanillaware's thing, but even more than anything I've ever seen from them before. So many different pieces of art for all the different classes, so many phenomenal animations, so many cool like background NPCs, unique versions of a lot of the different, well, unique versions for all the different classes because there's a unique character for every class, but then also like variations of the generic classes as well. Some of them up to 5 or more. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And I cannot fault them at all for there being some places where you can kind of feel that they ran out of money. The fact that there's only 2 generic Elven classes and only really 4 Elven classes total. The fact that there's like hints of some sort of like a hot spring mechanic here and there that you can see bits and pieces of that you would expect probably would have been a thing at some point, but obviously is not there now. The fact that not every class has a male and female version. The fact that you can't like rename your characters properly. Different things like that that you would expect to have exist. But there's so much else there that you can't fault them in the slightest for the absence of those things. At least I can't. And I really don't think you should either. And that's to say nothing of the depth of strategic combat. Like, people are saying, oh, this game is too easy, whatever. But I don't think every game needs to be, like, wielding a hammer above your nuts and being like, well, get ready, Buster. Like, not every game needs to be an absolute ball buster. And there's still so much strategic depth to learn and understand and grapple with in Unicorn Overlord. Figuring out how tactics work. Figuring out how different units are going to work with each other on the battlefield, and then how your different classes are going to work with each other within a unit. Different formations, how to utilize them. All the different ways that you can get different classes set up. Like, I've had, I don't even know, like 4 different builds for fighter alone over the course of the game, depending on what I needed, what gear I had available. That's 4 different builds for one class that I was just kind of doing casually. To say nothing of all the different focused stuff that you can do as you unlock different stuff throughout the story. All the different homages to different classics in the genre. Characters that are obviously references to well-known heroes and villains of the past. Music that is like almost dangerously similar to classic tracks from things like Tactics Ogre and FFT. It's just, I can just gush about it so much. It's such a phenomenal experience. And then the fact that you get a whole new difficulty mode to play with after you clear the game once. The fact that there is post-game content. The fact that the final boss left me, who is... I don't think it's unfair for me to say this. I don't think this is bragging or anything. Really good at strategy RPGs and turn-based strategy RPGs. And I had to really sit there and think and rearrange units and analyze what the boss was capable of. Like, when you have a boss that says, all right, yeah, at the start of every fight, the first 6 times you hit me, just don't do anything. And then after that, I have the chance to instantly kill or completely cripple your entire unit in like 4 different ways. Good luck, bud. Figure it out. It's like, oh, okay. All right, yes, sir. Let me bust out the pen and paper and figure out the attack vectors here so I don't accidentally screw myself over. My word. It was insane. It was just so wild. And the entire time, the music is bopping and the animations look great. All the character voice acting is phenomenal. The writing for all the characters is phenomenal. Like, I was just so immersed the entire time. I was always excited to boot the game up. I was always thinking about what it was that I was going to do next. And I still am now. Just because I've completed the game once does not mean I'm anywhere near done. We're going to be playing True Zenoiran on the stream. I've already started an off-stream True Zenoiran run where I'm doing a like holy crusade where I'm limiting myself to like armored knights and paladins and great knights and griffin knights and clerics and the holy quote-unquote units, all the angel units, that type of stuff, and not using thieves or housecarls or bestial units or elven units or wyverns or anything like that, just to see, just for the challenge of it. And it's already working out, and it's already really fun. Just figuring out, okay, how am I going to approach that challenge? And it seems like there's an almost limitless number of ways that you can set up challenge runs in Unicorn Overlord that I'm so excited to try in the future. You know, there's so many videos I want to do. I want to do deep dives on every single class. I want to break down all the different side quests and talk about what you can find where and how you can use it and the different types of builds that you can put together, all that type of fun stuff. I want to dive into the arena. I've not touched the online arena once. I just went through the basic arena quest line to recruit Amalia, and that's it. There's so much that you can check out there. So many cool enemy units to fight. So many cool items to get. It's insane. It is a truly massive game, and I think from what we saw of the demo, we knew that that was going to happen, to the point that people in my chat and then myself were saying, like, oh, this is the Elden Ring of strategy RPGs. And yes, I know everyone's like, oh, this is the Dark Souls of blah. But the point being that, like, you take a strategy RPG and you blow it up into an open world experience with all of the things that you would expect from something like that games don't normally do, and then it does it. That's what happened with Elden Ring for action RPGs, and I think that's what's happened here with Unicorn Overlord for turn-based strategy or just regular strategy RPGs. It's a stellar undertaking, and somehow Vanillaware managed to pull it off. Like, I'll always be thinking about what, if they had infinite time and infinite money, they could have done, because this is already such an incredible project, and knowing that they ran into roadblocks blows my mind. Because this game blows so many other games out of the water. So many other games with its creativity and its passion and just the way it brings everything together so well. And, like, yeah, it's not to say that there's not criticisms. Like, the story's not anything phenomenal compared to games in the past that Vanillaware has done, but it's certainly good. I've played worse games with way worse stories and better games with way worse stories. This has both. And that's impressive. That's not easy to do. Will it be a story that sticks with me for all time beyond just it being attached to a game that I love? No, I don't think so. We've seen all the tropes before and everything, but that's fine. Nothing wrong with a good trope. Nothing wrong with a story that uses them effectively. You can still do a lot of fun stuff with that. And I think they did here, especially with how strong the characters themselves are written. That carries it a lot, and that's really cool. As far as True Zenoiran is concerned, I'm absolutely going to be doing a live run of that, as I mentioned. I have to figure out exactly what the rules of it are going to be, but I am thinking of doing a sort of Iron Man proper permadeath sort of thing going on. Still haven't quite decided how I want to do that within the rule set that True Zenoiran encourages. Like, I'm not going to do a permadeath mode where it's like if a class or like a character dies in a unit, they're gone forever, because that would just be way too much. And I think adhering to the idea that you only lose a unit if everyone in that unit dies, I think we can go with that and then just not use the resurrection items that you get in True Zenoiran and say, no, those characters are dead. They're gone. Beyond that, I'm not sure if there are what other restrictions I would want to set up, if any. I'll figure that out, and then I'll probably put out a video talking about what the exact rule set we're using is, so that y'all know, can maybe play along or do a similar challenge if you want. Once I get that figured out, that'll go up. But that's what I'm thinking of doing right now. I think that's going to be an absolute blast. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that I actually found out in the middle of the finale stream, it was recently announced by Atlas that Unicorn Overlord has surpassed 500,000 sales within this first month since its release. And that is insane. For a niche genre, with an even more niche style of game in that genre, from a well-respected but still, again, niche developer, that is a phenomenal sales figure. I am so excited to hear that. It's so well-deserved. And while I know Vanillaware has said they don't have any plans to port to PC, they don't typically do DLC or sequels or anything like that, I can only hope that this success and the outpouring of love and support for Unicorn Overlord leads to something else down the line. Because I do think that there's a lot that Vanillaware could do with this style, with this game, whether it be a prequel, a sequel, something set elsewhere in the world. There's a lot that I feel like they have the opportunity to do if they want to. And if they don't, that's fine. I never want to see a developer make a sequel to a game just because the game does well if they don't have their hearts set in it, right? So I would not want to see that, because it would lead to a worse product. Absolutely. But if there is more that Vanillaware would like to do with the world of Unicorn Overlord, with the world of Fevrith, then I can only hope that we wind up seeing them go there because of this game's success. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I just wanted to gush about the game for a second, get these very positive feelings out of my mind, out of my mouth, and out there into the world for you all to discuss. As I said, I'm going to work on getting some sort of a full review together at some point here in the near future, as well as so many other things, guides, discussion, more news about anything to do with the game, even the damn cooking video if I can finally find the time to edit it. All of that and more, so I hope you do stick around for a good long while. A lot of fun stuff coming on the channel. With that said, though, going to wrap this one up here. My name has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, be good to each other. Bye now.